That's a little better. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 7th graduation ceremony of Mifflin County High School. This evening, we celebrate with the friends, family, and many of the people who got us to where we are today as we reflect upon our own respective pasts. But to do only so would be of no use. What stands behind us now is a mere backdrop to the true action of life, the future. For some, the past becomes the present, which then becomes the future. But I dare all of us, the class of 2018, to have the courage to embrace the live action that is the future, and to not merely slip into the background of the past. What often deters some from this great embrace is the knowledge, but more greatly the fear that these actions are now entirely our individual choice. Striving for greatness is a choice often opposed by those guilty of living in the ease of the past. As we begin tonight's ceremony, I want to leave you with these words of wisdom from the inspirational speaker, Anton St. Martin. Never surrender your hopes and dreams to the fateful limitations others have placed on their own lives. The vision of your true destiny does not reside within the blinkered outlook of the naysayers and the doomed prophets. Judge not by their words, but accept advice based on the evidence of actual results. Do not be surprised should you find a complete absence of anything mystical or miraculous in the manifested reality of those who are so eager to advise you. Friends and family who suffer the lack of abundance, joy, love, fulfillment, and prosperity in their own lives really have no business imposing their self-limiting beliefs on your reality. Go forward from today, class of 2018, and live the unlimited potential that burns deep in all of us. May you please rise. Gentlemen, remove your caps for the playing of the national anthem.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose bright stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. O'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hello there. During my time at Mifflin County High School, I have learned about many topics. There is one lesson in particular that I would like to share. It comes in the form of 3 stories of my time in Mifflin County. The first occurred as soon as I arrived here. As many of you know, I grew up in Burbank, California, a suburb of Los Angeles. In 6th grade, my family moved from the crowded city to rural McVeytown, Pennsylvania. As a city boy who had never seen a cow, the lifestyle and traditions of Mifflin County were foreign to me. My first authentic Mifflin County experience was a trip to the Juniata River with Jacob Sunderland's family. Jake, my brother Ethan, and I jumped into kayaks and paddled across the river to explore the unknown. Little did we know, Ethan had hitchhikers aboard his craft. When we arrived at our destination, 2 mice were scurrying around the inside of his kayak. Having never dealt with wild creatures before, he asked Jake for help. Jake held one of his paddles over his head and brought it down with a mighty crash. This approach was vastly different than the Save the Earth philosophy that we had been taught in California. The commotion scared one mouse into the river, but the other wasn't so lucky. My mother heard the ruckus and ran toward the river to see if we were okay. We signaled that we were fine and paddled back. The second story took place during 8th grade at the junior high school. Many of you know that Joey Rupert and I are close friends. So close, in fact, that when I started to grow my hair out longer, people thought I was his girlfriend. We are known by many as the smart kids who skipped a grade level in math and science. However, that does not always mean we are the prim teacher's pets. Sometimes our creativity led to strange situations. For example, we dress up in robes for Star Wars Day and chant unusual inside jokes in the hallways. Just to be clear, Joey, this is not a cue to yell self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. More recently, we created iguana boxing, an alternative style of combat between an iguana puppet and a challenger. Disclaimer, we did not fight on school property. We may have been strange, but we obeyed the necessary rules. However, we often explored and ignored the typical norm for behavior. Our gifted coordinator has noted that an average bystander would question the decision to place us in the gifted program. We have found humor and entertainment from a unique perspective and disregard of our dignity. The third story happened during the swim season. I am a swimmer for the high school team. I specialized in butterfly, a stroke that few people enjoy. It is an inefficient and tiring style that requires much raw strength and stamina to perform. I would like to mention at this point that my brother Ethan is the athlete of the family. I am the nerd and tend to achieve higher academically, but Ethan is an athletic champion. This year, we both competed in butterfly, but at different times. Through hard work and practice, I achieved my personal best time at the first swim meet of the year. The very next meet, my brother beat my time by 2 seconds. I wasn't discouraged. I practiced hard. After a month, I got faster and finally surpassed my brother's time. The very next meet, my brother beat my time again. Another month passed by. I worked, I practiced, and I performed more butterfly than my swim team thought was healthy. And finally, I beat his time again. The very next meet, my brother beat my time. This year, I swam butterfly at districts. He didn't. The joke is on him because I beat his previous time there. However, I can guess that next year, he will not let my record stand. Now, you might be wondering what pest problems, eccentric entertainment, and brotherly battles have to do with each other. I said earlier that there was one lesson I wanted to share this evening. The lesson is changing perspective. Looking at the world differently or through another person's viewpoint yields many benefits. In the first story, I was surprised not only by the aggressive yet effective solution to the problem, but also by the confidence with which Jake executed his plan. While my Californian perspective told me to let the mouse go free, I had to recognize that life in Pennsylvania is vastly different than that of my birthplace. Looking at a situation from a different person's perspective can help discover a solution to a problem. In the second, Joey and I used unusual perspectives to generate our entertainment. Our willingness to adopt strange viewpoints without regard for social norms allowed us to have fun in otherwise mundane situations. Finally, my competition with Ethan continually raised my standards of excellence. Each time I thought I became my fastest, Ethan would challenge my perspective. We never belittled or discouraged each other, but when our desires to be the fastest butterfly swimmer were confronted with the other's victory, our expectations for ourselves were elevated. Changing how we view the world is the basis for original thinking. It can show us new solutions to a conflict, new ways to laugh, and set new standards for excellence. As we leave these ranks today, I challenge you. Look at a difficult situation that you encounter in a new light, even if the view seems strange or unusual. You never know what you might see. Thank you.
Good evening, fellow classmates, teachers, family, and friends of ours in the audience. Thank you for coming and celebrating this time with us. Not just this time, but all the time leading up to this moment. 13 years of learning. That's more than 2,300 days, 16,000 hours, 9,800,000 minutes, and nearly 60 million seconds and counting. And to think that we can still remember our very first day. Personally, I remember walking into kindergarten with my light-up sneakers, Power Rangers backpack on, ready to tackle the first day. Personally, I remember walking in, seeing tons of smiling faces, while others have some tears. I made some new friends, and I met my new teacher that I heard so much about. Then, I make it to lunch. Best time of the day. That is, until I realized the sandwich my mother packed still had the crust on it. I start whining and think, I can get Mom to fix it, but then remember that she's nowhere around. I start to break down, over a sandwich no less, saying that it's the worst day of my life. In reality, this was my buddy beside me, so I decided to take the sandwich from him and eat it so he won't have anything to complain about anymore. Hopefully he still doesn't remember this, but in case he does, I'm sorry. Pretty soon we're in 6th grade, just when we think we have it all down, with our group of friends set, our classes all figured out, our school district goes and changes everything with a merger we weren't prepared for. We're all back to square one again. One in a sea of hundreds. If we're lucky enough, we're with 2 or 3 others that we knew from elementary school, but that's it. It's time to start anew for all of us. A first time our feathers really got ruffled, and time for us to start figuring out exactly where we belong in the grand scheme of things. Jumping ahead to freshman year, we may look and sound older, but not much has truly changed. We still wait for lunch to come around to complain about it with our friends, and classes haven't gotten any easier. The dreaded research papers have started, but so have our thoughts about the future. Our parents start to ask us what we want to do after school is over, and many of us still aren't sure. We still got time, a luxury that we thought would never run out. And here we are today, seniors, graduating seniors. That time we thought we had so much to decide is now in the past. We're officially becoming responsible adults, well, some more than others. Soon we'll leave this moment in the past and be expected to know, to say, and to do everything right in the future. You and I both know that isn't what will happen. We'll still beg our mothers to do our laundry. We'll eat cereal out of bowls with plastic wrap in them so we don't have to wash them. And we'll spend hours playing video games that do nothing but make us angry, yet play them anyway. We'll try to use our time doing things the right way and for the right reasons. But remember, there's a time to mess up and to have fun too. As one of my personal favorite musical artists, Luke Bryan, wrote, I believe that days go slow and years go fast. Think about it. How many days have you come back home from school and thought to yourself, today was the longest day that I've ever had? Or maybe, I can't wait to be done. Our senior year has had many of those, I'm sure, for each of us. Yet here we stand, looking back, wondering where the time went. But these past 13 years shouldn't be the best years of our lives. The future has infinite possibilities for each of us. Yes, our time may be limited, but we can't let time control our lives. We have the power to control our time and spend it doing what we want, how we want, and with whom we want. So instead of sitting back and letting your life unfold in front of you, go out there and seize every moment. Well, that killed about 4 minutes, so you can add up to 980,000 in 4 minutes, whoever's keeping track. Cherish this moment, but don't ever let time stop you from what lies ahead. Time is ours. Live, love, dream, and spend your time in pursuit of what you want most in this life, because there's no time for anything less. Congratulations, class of 2018. Have a husky day.
I hear the drums echoing tonight, but she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation. Do-do-do, she's coming in 12:30 flight. Her moonlit wings reflect the stars that guide you towards salvation. Do-do-do, I stopped an old man along the way, hoping to find some long-forgotten words or ancient melodies. Do-do-do, he turned to me as if to say, hurry boy, it's waiting there for you too. Gonna take a lot away. Ooh, there, 100 men or more. Ooh, I bring in Africa. Gonna take some The wild joys cry out in the night as they grow restless, longing for some solitary colony. Do-do-do, I know that I must do what's right, sure as Kilimanjaro rises like Olympus above the Serengeti. Do-do-do, I seek to cure what's deep inside, frightened of this thing that I've become to. Gonna take a lot away. Ooh, there, 100 men or more. Ooh, I reign in Africa. Gonna take some time to love them Hurry, boy, she's waiting there for you. Gonna take a lot.
Sitting in the third floor library, as rays from the setting sun flooded over the last few pages of my homework, it began to dawn on me that my days of doing what I then viewed as such tedious work were numbered. There were only so many more math problems, so many more bells to mark the go-between classes, and only so many more days in what was such a transformative experience at Mifflin County High School. That all being said, the gravity of the end was soon dulled by the realization that the time was ticking and I had yet a clue about how to start, let alone perfect, a graduation speech. With nowhere to begin and no idea what to write about, I panicked. So, I did what any normal student would do. I Googled it. As I was typing how to give a valedictorian speech in the search engine, I thought, yep, this is straight from the heart. The first URL presented to me was a list of steps that needed to be followed in order to deliver the best speech possible. I read on. Step 1. Simple enough, review speeches given by various valedictorians. Utilize the themes or interesting topics that you find in your own speech. Step 2. Keep it short. I'm sure you're all going to be thanking WikiHow for that one. Here, I find my one goal. If I cannot make this commencement speech memorable, I will at least try to make it short. Step 3. Avoid cliches. How many times have we heard, I believe this is not the end, but the beginning? Or how about, wow, time really does fly? Yet cliches are often rooted in truth. I can remember sitting on these very bleachers watching graduation unfold years ago. Very young and naive, the word valedictorian had yet to find its way into my vocabulary. After having to sit through the speeches, I turned to my mom and said, I don't know if I could ever speak in front of all these people like that, and to be honest, my words still hold a little truth. This is where the wise advice from the WikiHow sages ended, so I moved on to the next several links. But I discovered that every other website on the page took me straight to YouTube videos of speeches previously given. Looking upon the long list of speeches, I chose one that looked beneficial to my future home, the United States Air Force Academy. With more than 6 million views, I clicked on Admiral William H. McRaven's commencement speech titled How to Change the World, which gave advice to college graduates on how to put themselves in the best position to succeed. Admiral McRaven, being a former Navy SEAL, had numerous learning experiences throughout his training. His first began with the task of making his bed every morning. Small in importance, but great in satisfaction, one must realize that it is these little and seemingly insignificant goals and tasks in life that truly matter. If you want to change the world, you must do the little things correctly, so that later you can do the big things correctly. Another idea made clear early on in his training was that it is a requirement to accept failure in order to succeed. Several times a week, the instructors would issue a uniform inspection. Everything had to be perfect, from a starched hat and a pressed uniform all the way down to a shiny belt buckle. However, no matter how much effort these men put into making sure everything was immaculate, it was never good enough for the SEAL instructors. Something was always imperfect. Those men that could not accept that their attempts were in vain did not understand the purpose of the drill. Nobody is ever going to be perfect. If you want to change the world, learn to accept failure. The final and possibly most pressing point that the Admiral wished to present to the graduating class struck me as his most poignant. One must never quit. During training, there is a bell that can be easily seen and is readily accessible to any SEAL candidate. By ringing the bell, you are making it evident that you are quitting. If you are willing to face the humility of telling fellow candidates that you can't take it anymore, you can be done. But if you want to change the world, it is essential that you never ring the bell. As Admiral McRaven gave his closing statements, I sat pondering on his every word. Keeping my browser open, YouTube automatically loaded the next video in line. Next to fill my screen was a speech that reflected on a student's high school journey by presenting and solving a Rubik's Cube. It was used as a metaphor to represent the struggles and complexities endured by us all during our high school career. Another speech utilized humor, and yet another acted as a platform for a boy to break up with his girlfriend. All of these speeches shared one common theme. They were absolutely of no help when it came to writing my own speech. I X'd out of YouTube and picked up my pencil in an attempt to recollect everything my search had yielded and to draw together some semblance of my own speech. From speech to speech on the internet, I realized that with every URL I clicked on, I found entirely new sets of takeaways from which we can all benefit. I reflected on what I had seen and heard, and then realized that my quest for assistance in my speech via Google was a takeaway in itself. It's 2018. You can Google how to get from Colorado Springs to Annapolis, Maryland. You can Google the upcoming weather. You can even Google for a significant other if you choose to do so. But you cannot Google for what you contain within yourself. I really wasn't any further along in finding what I wanted to talk about. Although I found incredible speeches, they weren't my own. They discussed topics those individuals chose to talk about. They were their ideas and their words. In the litany of speeches today, much like the ones I found on Google, I also have a takeaway. Google and the world around you may guide you, but you must discover on your own the passion that keeps your heart beating. So, if you want to change the world, stop doing a Google search and start doing a soul search. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Beth Laughlin, and on behalf of the Mifflin County School Board, I would like to congratulate the graduates, their parents, and their family and friends. You have made it. You're here sitting with us this evening, and I'm not going to drone on either because it's hard to follow those 3-4 speeches that we've just had. It shows what you all have as a potential future. You're accomplished, you're hardworking, you have the world at your feet. So let's go out and get there. What Mr. Bennett Andrews had to say was that you don't quit, you keep trying. I like that. You don't quit. Sometimes you might fail for a moment, but in the end, if you keep trying, you will succeed. And success is not measured by somebody else's standards. Success is measured by your own. Don't let somebody else tell you whether or not you're successful. You make that decision. Somebody, very, very happy to see our valedictorian going to be attending the Air Force Academy. She has the world at her feet. She has the potential to be very successful. Her success is not going to be measured by somebody else's success. What you need to realize is your dreams are your dreams. Your dreams are not somebody else's. You need to figure out what you want to do, and you need to go out and do it. It may be here, it may be in New York, it may be in Singapore, it may be in Russia, it may be anywhere. But you guys need to figure it out for yourselves. You're adults now. That's a scary word. You need to be used to change. You need to make sure that change doesn't throw you. You need to be adaptable, flexible. We were supposed to have a graduation ceremony last night, and I would like to commend the administration to make that decision because, you know, I'd be really sweating and we'd be all wet if we had had it last night, but we've got a gorgeous evening. Let's celebrate that too. So change sometimes is a good thing. I guess the takeaway I want you guys to have is that this life that you're taking your first step towards is your own life. You are in control. The world is your oyster, so to speak. You figure it out. You can ask for help. There are people that will help you gladly. Some of your teachers, your family, your friends, mentors. But it's your decision. Go get it. Let's all succeed. And I'm hoping that some of you will stay around here. We can make this place really good. We can make it even better than it is. But it's for you to decide. So I'm not going to hold up the works this evening. You guys have a great evening. I'm going to be looking forward to shaking each and every one of your hands, giving you your diploma, and launching you on the next stage in your life. You have a good evening. Thank you.
Well, good evening. On behalf of the faculty and staff of Mifflin County High School, I'd like to welcome parents and relatives, friends, past graduates to the commencement ceremony for the class of 2018. I hope that you will enjoy tonight's program. I'd like to take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about the 400 plus students that sit before you tonight. 42% of the class, 173 students, will be attending four-year colleges and universities. 12% of the class, 48 students, are planning on attending two-year colleges or trade and technical schools. 5% of the class are planning on entering military service. We salute these 26 students who volunteer to serve their country. Madison Amspacker, United States Air Force Academy. Anthony Cardone, Army. Connor Foltz, Marines. Kara Petrillo, Army. Zachary Poff, Army. Noah Reed, Marines. Elizabeth Ruffner, Navy. Nathan Shoup, Army. Bryant Ugetto, Army. Jared Forshey, Army. Kenneth McNitt, Marines. Tyler Mitchell, Army. David Peck, U.S. Army, National Guard. Bryson Phillips, Marines. Justin Reese, Army. Garrett Rhodes, Army. Jackson Robinette, Air Force. William Shepard, Navy. Kyler Snook, Army. Deegan Tate, Marines. Clifford Malachi Scott, Army. Connor Ugetto, Air Force. Davis Wagner, United States Naval Academy. Anthony Foltz, U.S. Air Force, ROTC. Aaron Kanegi, Army, ROTC. We want to thank these fine young people for their willingness to serve. Thank you. It is my pleasure, as principal of Mifflin County High School, to certify that the members of the class of 2018 have successfully completed the educational requirements as established by the state of Pennsylvania and the Board of Education of the Mifflin County School District. Therefore, by the authority given to me by the Pennsylvania Department of Education and the Board of Education of the Mifflin County School District, I present the class of 2018 to you for their diplomas. Would the first row please stand? Madison Amspacker. Owen Shalver. Bennett Andrews. Aaron Wagner. Madison Bressler. Alicia Berryman. Ross Cottrell. Davis Wagner. Mackenzie Copenhaver. Hannah Sutton. Amber Schifano. Kyle Peachy. Joelle Morrison. Olivia Graham. Riley Rittenhouse. Emma Kerstetter. Connor Yoder. Jonathan Sudam. Ian Herbertson. Natalie Fisher. Madeline Knepp. Alyssa Strasberg. Ethan Knabel. Megan Harshbarger. Hannah Fitzgerald. Erica Carolus. Anthony Foltz. Aaron Kanegi. Jesse Krebs. Heidi Kleinerd. Trent Heidley. Ronald Rupert. Jamie Mahegel. David Druckenmiller. David Staronka. Joseph Taptich. Anna Ream. Alexis Hartman. Emily Schilling. Braden Yoder. Garen Wolfgang. Mackenzie Foltz. Caitlin Snyder. Michaela Nagel. Ethan Bumgardner. Jackson Robinette. Savannah Wilt. Selena Brenneman. Savannah Swigert. Rayleigh Goss. Taylor Seacrest. Griffin Byler. Malachi Brott. John Dunmeyer. Emily Lefevre. Cade Shoemaker. Abigail Yerrick. Haley Hughes. Clarissa McConaughey. Jennifer Kasner. Jada Brannon. Alyssa Hanford. Nikita Sipe. Hannah Deal. Megan Gutshaw. Tara Gardner. Elizabeth Bender. Alyssa Humarang. Riley Snavely. Brianna Hockenberry. Matthew Huggendubler. Maxie Johnson. John Morris. Asia Lenz. Tyler Stein. Bethany Chance. Olivia Wagner. Daniel Wright. Allison Prendergast. Carly Croyle. Leandra Hackenberg. Kyle Schilling. Hannah Barquette. Shelby Curry. Alicia Reese. Sierra McConaughey. Serena McConaughey. Jessica McCoy. Jerry McGuire. Thomas Remy. Justin Jacobs. Keith Shear. Annalisa Yoder. Ty Nairhood. Hunter Goss. Madison Leister. Taylor Alexander. Brady Spake. Madison Holland. Kevin Nievling. Ryan Walker. Caleb Yoder. Annalise Haynes. John Hurlbert. Hannah Alexander. Jacob Allison. Gabrielle Armstrong. Alexa Altz. Caleb Altz. Stephanie Ummiller. Sophia Auernd. Natalie Bachman. Damon Bailey. Eve Bailey. Morgan Baines Stiers. James Bear. Kaylee Batesel. Cole Baker. Thomas Barger. Benjamin Barnes. Juliette Basilaire. James Beaver. Colton Betleon. Drew Betleon. Austin Bilger. Emily Bingman. Michaela Bishop. Rochelle Bone. Rylan Bone. Sage Bonilla. Jade Bodorf. William Bowers. Christopher Bowersox. Brittany Brownsberger. Marnie Brubaker. Landry Burdick. Destiny Berkey. Caleb Campbell. Anthony Cardone. Bella Carruthers. Cordell Carson. Tanner Carter. Amy Kasner. Kelly Kasner. Dylan Cassidy. Keegan Ciccolini. Jason Collier. Kayla Comp. Amanda Confer. Abigail Corbin. Cheyenne Kudre. Derek Cross. Hannah Davis. Beatrice de Oliveira Inocencio. Brian Decker. Mara Delamarter. Ashley Deal. Noah Dobbs. Wyatt Druckenmiller. Leah Durst. Stephen Durst. Kaya Eby. Elena Eckley. Gabriel Elsesser. Harley Erb. Bryson Eward. Dylan Eward. Mark Farley. Ty Ferentz. Faith Fiddler. Caleb Filson. Angel Fisher. Austin Fithian. Jenna Flegel. Kirsten Folk. Olivia Folk. Tara Lynn Foltz. Morgan Ford. Jared Forshee. Tyrus Fortson. Sergey Frolov. Amber Foltz. Connor Foltz. Carissa Foltz. Dominic Gordon. Kaylee Goss. Kyle Gottshaw. Ella Grove. Gabe Grove. Elias Grubb. Kyle Haynes. Cameron Hampton. Jared Hannon. Dakota Harding. Jordan Harmon. Bailey Harris. Zeb Harshbarger. Aaron Henry. Jessica Henry. Nathaniel Henry. Richard Henry. Tanner Hepner. Austin Herring. Sadie Lane Hess. Stephen Hipple. Timothy Hook. That way, buddy. Austin Hostler. Nicholas Hostetler. Thatcher Hauer. Zoe Hoy. Austin Huffman. Alicia Hunt, Arcelia Ibarra, Zane Jackson, Bailey Jasper, Derek Jewell, Brooke Kaylee, Hannah Kanegi, Cyril Capinas, Robert Kaufman, Elijah Keeler, Jared Kelly, Braden Kaib, Jesse Kirk, Hunter Klein, Stephen Kokendorfer, Michael Kohler, Rachel Kohler, Tiffany Krell, Paige Lanciano, Alexander Larson, Courtney Lash, Emily Lawyer, Alexis Lefevre, Remington Lamin, Natasha Leonard, Caitlin Lindemuth, Sky Loner, Juniel Lugo Garcia, Kelsey Lynn, Cody Leiter, Zoe McGill, Brett Majestic, Rachel Marker, James McCardle, Raven McKnight, Mackenzie McNamara, Kenneth McNitt, Jay Metzler, Lance Miller, Kayla Millisock, Carter Mills, Tyler Mitchell, Victoria Moon, Jessica Morgan, Hunter Mowry, Sierra Moyer, Sarah Myers, Sarah Nagel, Jasmine Nail, Amanda Norton, Madison Osborne, Michaela Packer, Sean Page, Cody Palm, Kyle Pando, Lyndon Parchi, Shauna Parmley, Noah Peachy, David Peck, Destiny Pennybaker, Melena Pennybaker, Caitlin Peters, Kara Petrillo, Bryson Phillips. Jerry Phillips. Roger Plotzer. Zachary Poff. Kirsten Powell. Marcella Popo. Noah Reed. Madeline Reeder. Justin Reese. Garrett Rhodes. Dylan Rhodes. Hannah Rhodes. Mackenzie Ryden. Juliana Ragati. Joshua Ritter. Jasmine Robertson. Jacob Romig Royer. Ryan Roselle. Abigail Royer. Dwayne Rubel. Elizabeth Ruffner. Sabrina Rummings. Edward Runkle. Dakota Sage. Gavin Sage. Roxana Salomon Perez. Brenna Sauer. Cole Schlegel. Clifford Malachi Scott. Leslie Sennett. Morgan Settle. Hannah Severson. Michaela Schaefer. Travis Sharp. Jacob Shaver. Sarah Shaver. Cassandra Sheets. William Shepard. Dakota Sherwood. William Shingler. Corina Shipe. Harley Shirk. Alexander Shoemaker. Ian Shoemaker. Nathan Shoup. Ashlyn Silks. Quentin Simonetti. Brock Sinkus. Jeremy Smith. Caleb Smith. Kara Smith. Kenneth Smith. Daphne Snook. Kyler Snook. Tristan Snyder. Ethan Souls. Tanner Spake. Nathan Stieber. Taylor Steele. Franklin Stevens. Jacob Stewart. Tiana Steinley. Hannah Stricker. Heather Stricker. Broden Stringer. Rebecca Stuck. Sabrina Stuck. Ty Stuck. Ryan Stahl. Clayton Stumpf. Drayson Sullivan. Jacob Sunderland. Tyler Sunderland. Mackenzie Sutphin. Jacob Swartz. Rose Swartz. Rebecca Swartzel. Harrison Sweeney. Seth Schweitzer. Brock Tate. Deegan Tate. Aaron Taylor. Morgan Taylor. Travis Taylor. Hudson Thompson. Cross Tadero. Kyle Treester. Tiana Treweek. Bryant Ugetto. Connor Ugetto. Dylan Unger. Zachary Van Horn. Montana Varner. Rayshana Varner. Asia Vaughn. Gavin Vega. Cassandra Velez. Antonio Vonner. Bradley Ann Wagner. Munson Wallace. Lillian Walters. Zachary Weeder. Andrew Weaver. Chloe Weaver. William Weaver. Devin Webb. Drew Westover. Brandon Williams. Brody Wilson. Genevieve Wilson. Taylor Wilson. Gabriel Winkles. Ty Winters. Michael Weirick. Logan Wise. Matthew Wolf. Clayton Wolfgang. Jenna Yetter. Cody Yetter. Jacob Yoder. Jordan Yoder. Casey Young. Morgan Young. Linkayla Zalewski. Kelsey Zook. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the class of 2018. Graduates, you may move your tassels. Family and friends, ladies and gentlemen, would you please rise? Gentlemen, remove your hats for the playing of our alma mater. Graduates, you may toss your caps.